and just, I don't give a shit about men. Men are useless. I don't need men for shit. I don't need nothing for nobody. Men are all the problem. They're all the issue. They all are the grapists. They're all the SAers. They're all the whistleblowers. They're all the fucking everything you want to name under the sun. That's the new 4B movement. That's the extension of the new wave feminists.
And calling it and saying it's because of abuse, it's because of women are tired of, is just pure emotional manipulation. Pure emotional manipulation. We're right because the statistic, it has nothing to do with that, is 100% reactionary. Oh, I'm sorry, did I say something funny?
I'm sorry. I can't take you seriously. I can't.
What aren't you taking seriously?
Like the whole reason that it started was because women were tired of being mistreated by men.
In South Korea, babe. No one heard of the 4B movement until Trump was elected. No one, babe, I'm talking now. Have I lived there in South Korea? Yes, I have, actually. Shut the fuck up. You don't know anything about me. I've lived in South Korea. I've been all over this world. Yeah, you're condescending to me. You're trying to emotionally manipulate me as well. And I won't allow it because I know the games and I know the tricks. This 4B movement in America has nothing to do with anything you're saying. Everything you're saying is just pure emotional manipulation. You're trying to, we're victims. We're victims. No one heard of our movement until Trump was elected when someone made a video where she angrily shaved her head on a TikTok. No one heard of this 4B movement until that. And then a bunch of other crazy liberal women joined in. Oh, but now that you look really ridiculous and dumb and emotional, now it's what it's really about. It's not about Trump. What it's really about is the historical abuse of women, blah, 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 blah. It's an emotional manipulation, and I will not sit here and allow you to do it. You don't get to gaslight and change facts and change history to suit your needs. Thanks, AZ Patriot. You don't get to change the history and change facts to suit your needs. You're purely trying to emotionally manipulate an audience and emotionally manipulate a man that is not going to be emotionally manipulated by you. And you're not going to emotionally manipulate a trans person because I had to sit there and listen to liberals try to emotionally manipulate me into being afraid that Trump was going to put me in a camp. He's going to ship me off to an island. He's going to take my rights away. I had to sit there and listen for months to people try to emotionally manipulate me into thinking that I'm a victim because I'm a trans person. It's trash, it's garbage, and I'm sick of it. The 4B movement is nothing but a reactionary temper tantrum because you didn't get your way, because Kamala Harris was unpopular, had no plan for this country, and was not liked. Period. That's all the 4B movement is, and it's trash.
Okay, and even if it is a temper tantrum.
I'm trying to understand what's the issue with women deciding that they don't want to engage with men in certain capacities if they don't feel safe, like the personal decision.
Yeah, so I have no issue with that whatsoever. If women decide not to engage with men for whatever reason, I have no issue with that, right? My only contention is this idea of the 4B movement being centered around that, I think is flawed because it's not centered around that whatsoever. I think people try to tie in genuine issues and genuine movements with the falsehood of the 4B movement. The 4B movement currently, as we see, is not centered around that whatsoever. And we consistently see that time and time again. That the 4B movement was, in fact, a reactionary response to Trump being elected. And that's my contention with it. Like I said, I don't have any issue. I hold the same principle to men, too, that if you were, essay raped or, catcalled or whatever, made you feel uncomfortable, regardless of the sex, gender, or whatever, if you feel like you should avoid that particular person or that type of person, I'm completely okay with that. I don't think that you should generalize all people within those categories and saying that if a male or female had, catcalled you, raped you, essayed you, that you should just say all men or all women are the problem, because they're not. It's individuals who are the problem. If there are some characteristics that resemble that individual who did that atrocity towards you, then yeah, I can understand you want to avoid them. But if you do want to make the generalization that it's all men, then I'm also going to make the generalization that it's all women. And if you think that's a problem, then you're going to have some sort of level of acceptance. And I don't think anyone wants to do that.
Well, I don't think anyone's generalizing about all men per se. I think people are just deciding what they're personally comfortable with. And I think it's been verified that 4B has been around for a while, that it started prior to this, and that there's been a lot of things leading up to this, like the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
Well, that's what I said, though. Like, even the women here who have trauma, right? That's not what the 4B movement is centered around. Because the entire premise and the entire messaging from the American 4B movement, especially now, was centered around the fact that Trump won. And it was centered
Okay, so
around
can I respond to that
divorcing.
really quick about Trump
Yeah.
winning? Okay, so Trump, like, so many women have come forward about Trump raping them, right? So raping them. So many women have come forward, and most men voted for Trump. So I can understand why women would feel uncomfortable with the fact that so many men were willing to stand behind someone who clearly does not respect women's consent and are, complicit.
How many people have come forward and accused Joe Biden? How many times have we watched Joe Biden sniff children on camera?
I don't think it's okay.
How many
to
times
make
have
people
how many times
uncomfortable
have how many
with violence.
times has Biden been accused? How many
I
times was
feel
Bill
like you're
Clinton
changing the
accused?
subject. Like
No. I'm not changing the subject. The point I'm making is any man in power gets these accusations. Whether or not it's true or not is debatable and it should be proven in a court of law.
Oh wait, Trump has gotten way more.
So
accusations.
Biden did all these things, but no one threw a temper tantrum because, and actually, if I remember correctly, everyone absolutely discounted Tara Reid. Everyone
So-
said, "Oh, she's making this up." Everyone victim blamed Tara Reid, who had
I
a
agree with
legitimate
you, actually.
and had evidence. Huh?
Yeah, I agree that we should believe women and that we should.
I think we should believe women if they have evidence. I don't buy into this whole believe women just because women say something.
So if 20
I believe evidence-
plus women
evidence
publicly
matters.
Came forward, 20 plus women publicly came forward and had evidence.
And how many of
About
those had
Trump
direct ties to the
raping them.
Democrat Party? How many of those women had direct ties to the Democrat Party?
I'm not gonna.
Do you know? I know.
Like dissect and like try to.
Well, you're making the
question
point
women
that
on
it's
their-
because all these women came forward. You're making that point, so I want to make a point that I don't think that they had a legitimate. They were just making an accusation because in today's society, an accusation is basically you're convicted now.
No, because
And that's why I think a lot of that's why a lot of people disregarded them.
98% of women are telling the truth, and also the amount of people who actually face legal consequences is minuscule. Like I did research on this. I worked for forensic labs, and that's absolutely not true.
Hey,
Coming
Ruth.
forward with an accusation brings a huge negative spotlight on a woman. She starts being dissected. She starts saying people say that it's for attention when in reality it's a huge sacrifice and it's traumatic to relive an experience. But sharing that so that people can know who they're voting for is a really brave thing to do and put someone in a position where people are going to be questioning about their trauma and their real lived experience. So I absolutely, people have
wasn't
been
talked about.
resisting men and like engaging with men and feeling comfortable. Like
Yeah.
this has been going on for a really long time. This is not something that just started now.
No, but the difference is though it was very specific though. See, the
I don't
thing
think
is
that's necessarily
between-
true. I think I
the
actually
difference-
know a lot of people have cut men out of their lives in a romantic or sexual way for a long time. So I don't agree with that, and I don't think that there's like evidence to prove what you're saying here.
I think the objective of going bald. What do you think that does in the 4B movement?
I don't really know
Because that's a
where
big part
you're
of it.
going with this here.
No, because I don't.
I feel
don't,
like you're kind
I'm
of
just
like I'm
No,
saying
no.
one
Here,
thing and you're
Ruth.
taking it in another direction.
No,
But
Ruth.
this
Here's the
is
thing though. Like,
ultimately just about consent, women's choices.
no.
If a woman isn't comfortable around men, that's her choice. Period.
But Ruth, that's the thing. That this is the issue that we're consistently coming across. Because what you're saying is valid, right? Is a valid movement, right? But that's not the 4B movement. That's not what this 4B movement is, right? You're extrapolating one thing and tying it into this because 4B movement involves around women and their choices. So you're extrapolating genuine women doing genuine things for genuine reasons, and you're tying it into a movement that has nothing to do with that because this entire 4B movement, right, isn't involved around that, right?
It's just about consent, women's choices about their bodies. That's what
It's just
about.
about a temper tantrum because you didn't get your way in the election.
But Ruth,
That's
the
not.
thing.
Who are
Ruth,
you to say why
Ruth,
women are
Ruth.
why some women are uncomfortable
Ruth.
around men? Like you can't say why women have made that decision.
But Ruth,
And it
that's
seems
not
like
what
you
we're
both are
arguing.
throwing
Because you know why I can say that, Ruth. Ruth, the reason I can say that is every 4B video I've seen ever, it's all because Donald Trump got elected, and I'm shaving my head, and we're not sleeping with our husbands, we're not sleeping with our boyfriends until he's out of office. Every single video that talks about a woman joining the 4B movement, it's all about how they're not doing anything while Trump is in office. It's a temper tantrum because they didn't get their way in the election, period.
Well,
You
so
can sit
why
there
is
and
there a
try to
problem with
tie it to
someone
this.
choosing to
You
shave
can
their
tie
head?
it to this.
Like, why does it bother you if someone chooses to
No,
shave
it
their
doesn't
head?
bother me
at all.
No, Ruth, actually,
You want to
Ruth,
look
it does-
ridiculous? Go for it.
No, Ruth, it does bother me. You know why it bothers me? Because what it's doing, because the whole premise of shaving the head is to make themselves unattractable. It makes themselves unworthy of men's attention, right? That's what it's trying to signal in this 4B movement, is to make them less desirable among men. And you know why that bothers me? Because there are genuine women out here who suffer from alopecia and cancer treatments, right? Who have no hair, who are bald because of this. And now they're getting grouped in with this movement of saying, hey, I don't want men to be attracted to me. When they're just out there trying to live their best life.
That's not happening at all. If
Ruth,
a woman chooses to go bald, that's her choice.
Ruth, you gotta let me finish. Ruth, you gotta let me finish.
But you're not listening to anything I'm saying. Like you're.
No,
it's
I
not
am. But Ruth,
registered.
no, I'm listening. I'm making a counter argument to what you're saying, right? I'm absolutely listening to you. And you said, why does this bother you? And I'm giving you the reason why this bothers me.
It shouldn't bother you because it's a matter of consent. Someone choosing to do something with their hair should not be a problem for you.
Ruth, that's not my issue. If you want to shave your head, by all means, go ahead, fucking shave it, right? But the idea and the messaging that they're saying along with shaving their head, right? If you just shaved your head, Ruth, if you just shaved your head today, right, and you shaved it and you lived your life, okay, fuck it, cool, go ahead, do your thing, right? But when you shave your head and then the messaging behind you shaving your head is saying, hey, I don't want men attracted to me. I want to make sure men never look at me. I want to deter men at all costs, right? That's your messaging while you're shaving your head, and that's what you're telling people for millions and thousands of people to see. That's my problem, because what it does is it ostracizes those who can't control that, the ones who have the alopecia, the ones who have the cancer and going through chemo and losing their hair. And now they feel like, and not only feel like, but are now getting grouped into this movement where they are looked at among other men that they're just trying to deter them when they're just trying to live their life. And they're actually trying to find love because it's hard for them. 100%.
I don't think people
and now
with cancer and alopecia are bothered by people.
They are.
Yeah, actually, there's quite a few videos of cancer survivors and people with alopecia that have made videos mocking the 4B movement for shaving their head. And, upon reflection, Scott, this is my problem. This is where I have a problem with the shaving the head and whatnot, because it's just more evidence of the fear mongering and the gaslighting that the Democrat Party has done for the past several months, telling women that they're going to have all their rights taken away. It's going to be Handmaid's Tale. It's just more evidence of that. I've seen it in my own community. What rights have you lost, Ruth?
Roe v. Wade. And
Roe v. Wade's not a right. Roe v. Wade was a court decision, and taking away Roe v. Wade only made it a state's issue, not a federal issue. It is not a right.
Body is absolutely
no,
right.
it's not about your body. It's not.
Absolutely
If you want to
is.
make that argument, no, a baby, a fetus, however you want to refer to it, has its own DNA, has its own body. You're making a decision for somebody else's body. It's not your body.
It absolutely,
You're deciding to
men's
end.
bodies are their bodies. Like I'm not
Yeah,
gonna.
but
I'm not going to have a debate about if women's bodies are theirs.
I'm not debating. See, you're pivoting and you're trying to gaslight me. That's not the argument I'm making. I'm saying that the fetus
is sharing my beliefs
babe,
here. And also, I want to.
the fetus.
Wait,
I
don't call me
apologize.
babe.
At the middle
Don't
of
call
my
me babe.
sentence is interrupting the beginning of yours. I shall continue. The point I'm making is the fetus has its own separate DNA. Therefore, the fetus has its own separate body. You're making a choice as a female for what to do with somebody else's body at that point. You want to say my body, my choice. What about that baby's body? What about that baby's choice? I'm fairly certain that a baby, if given the choice, would choose to live 100% of the time. 100% of the time. So I'm not arguing whether or not a woman can choose to do with her own body. Do what you want with your body. Get a bunch of dumb tattoos, shave off your head, pierce your septum, do whatever. But the moment your choices start impacting other sentient beings, I think as a society, we should step up, step in and say, hey, wait a second. You know what? You're 9 months pregnant. Maybe we shouldn't kill this unborn baby. You're 8 months pregnant. You're 6 months pregnant.
It's almost always early stage where there's a clump of cells, but that's another myth.
You can you can dehumanize an unborn child all you want by calling it a clump of cells, by calling it anything you want. But at the end of the day, if left alone, that clump of cells becomes a baby, becomes a human, becomes a sentient being. You can't argue that. You can dehumanize it and become dispassionate and separate yourself from the actual act that you're doing or wanting the alleged right to do. But at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're taking a life. You're ending life. Period.
You could absolutely make your decision to shave your head. Right? Cool with that. Okay. Not whatsoever. Now, do you think while you're shaving your head, right, and you're making an entire video about it, and you're saying, I'm shaving my head, and I encourage others to do the same, so we can deter men. Do you think that's a helpful message?
Do I think what's a helpful message?
Do you think it's a helpful message for when women are shaving their head, encouraging other women to do the same, so we can detract all men in general?
I mean, I think that this is about people making personal choices. Most people engaged in this are not engaged.
Ruth, I asked you a specific question. Ruth, I asked you a specific question. Do you think it's a okay message to say? Do you think it's appropriate to say, I'm shaving my head. Women, I want you to shave your head too, so we can deter all men from ever wanting to be with us. Do you think that's an appropriate message?
I think it's appropriate for women to choose whatever they want to do with their hair or with their bodies.
Ruth, you're hung up on the idea, and I didn't disagree with you. Ruth, I said if you personally wanted to shave your fucking head, and even if you made a video just you shaving your head, you're like, hey, I'm shaving my head because I want to. Sure, go ahead. Knock yourself out. I will have zero issue with that. None whatsoever.
Okay, so is this more about freedom of speech then? Is this more about...
No, it's not about freedom of speech whatsoever. You can say what you want. I'm not saying you shouldn't say it. At all.
People can make choices and have a message behind that.
Ruth,
I don't think that your idea of what the message is accurate.
Ruth, you got to let me finish. I'm not saying that women shouldn't say anything. I'm not saying they shouldn't shave their head. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is, do you think it could be a potential problem for society, not only amongst other women, but other women who can't control the fact that they lost hair, from shaving your head and encouraging other women to shave their head because we're in protest and we want to deter men from liking us?
So peaceful protest, great. Like I don't see an issue here.
Do you care if that negatively impacts other people who cannot grow hair?
I don't think it does. I think that people can make their own choices. If there are specific people that are uncomfortable,
you keep going back. Ruth, hold on. Ruth, you keep going back to if people can make their own choice. You keep going back to something that I already agreed with you on.
But the 4B movement is about a woman's right to choose. No. So that's what this whole thing is about.
Ruth, the messaging that the whole entire 4B movement is centered around is not just your freedom of choice, which yes, they can choose to do that, yes, 100%. And that's not the issue of the 4B movement that I have with, right? Because they can't do that, and that's fine. Go ahead. You could say what you want. Go ahead. I have no issue with you saying it. But what I have an issue with is the impact that it has on society as a whole and the messaging that you're now perpetrating out into society that people are taking a hold of by equating if I'm shaving my head, right? Or if my significant other voted for X candidate, right? That I should not be with them anymore. I should divorce them. Or if I'm shaving my head because I want to deter men, that's affecting people that may not be even in the movement, but because they fall within that category, they're now negatively impacted. Does that make sense?
I'm hearing you. It still doesn't change the fact that these are personal choices people are making for their comfort and their safety. I personally
just say you don't care about other people's impact
for Trump because they're okay with a lot of things that impact women. There's so many things going on right now that men are doing that affect women negatively. And if they're choosing that they're uncomfortable with that, that's up to them. And if they want to say a message about that, that's also up to them.
Okay, that's fine. Then just say you don't care that it negatively impacts people who don't want to be a part of that movement.
I don't think it negatively impacts people who don't want to be part of that movement.
Okay, Ruth, be completely honest with me. I need you to be completely honest with me. You don't think that someone shaving their head, saying the whole reason we're shaving our heads and we encourage other women to do that because we want to deter men. We don't want men looking at us as attractive because having hair is a beauty standard that men find attractive. So if we shave this off, we're no longer fitting that Western beauty standard anymore, and now we're less attractive. Do you not think that would affect people who does not have control of whether or not they can grow hair or they lost hair?
I think that a person choosing to shave their head bald doesn't have to do with somebody else who has issues growing hair.
Ruth, you're being so Ruth, you're being so disingenuous because I'm asking you a very specific question.
I'm not being disingenuous.
You are though because what you're doing is
answering the direct question. Scott's asking you a direct question, and you're avoiding answering. That's why you're being disingenuous, babe. It has nothing to do with not agreeing with you. I'm
going to get off the line because I'm uncomfortable with how you're talking to me. But I would love if another woman wants to speak up on here. I'd love to hear what you have to say. But I'm going to stop because I've said multiple times I don't like it when you refer to me that way. So I'm going to get off of this.
Well, I apologize that the way I speak, I'm sorry that a trans person is not speaking the way you think a trans person speaks.
I'm not sure, huh?
Thanks for taking my voice. Thanks for trying to control how I speak. I appreciate you.
You know, the ironic.
So how are you doing, Scott?
the ironic part is what you're saying affects her, but what other women are saying does not affect other women.
You know what
Or
kills me?
other people in
Here's
general.
what kills me. Here's what absolutely kills me right now. I'm starting my second cup of coffee, and I really just want to pop back off here and go play with the dogs and whatnot. But with all the crying and all the moaning and bitching about Tabby being this and Tabby that, I'm not going to. Until you remove me, I'm not leaving this live just because it's pissing people in the comments off. Bitch and moan some more. You will not silence this trans person's voice just because I don't agree with you. Deal with it. Cope and seethe.
Oh, I don't want to be rude now because she gifted me, but I just wanted to talk about the last guest. I noticed that she was missing the point a lot, or she was just dodging it, but I understood very well what you were trying to say. People with I have a friend that has alopecia, and he saw a post about this 4B movement and how, if you appear bald, you are appeared as ugly or, as unattractive. So my friend kind of got offended and said like, oh, so now I'm ugly because being bald is like the standard of being ugly, So I kind of told him like, it's okay, like just ignore it. And it just kind of sucks that we have to walk on eggshells, but we're just trying to respect people. Like, I don't understand why it's so hard to just understand. Yes, I get it. You have every right to shave your head, like I said, but do the intention right. Like, that's ignorant. A true movement, if you really want a feminine movement, do something better. Do something more thoughtful. Think about the thing you're actually going to protest, Do it right. Think about the choices because society is going to look at everything, every detail, and I don't know. I'm just really disgusted. I don't know. And it's kind of crazy because women get offended that, men have a standard of wanting skinny women and, the ugly standard is being overweight and women get offended by that. So what's the difference with the situation? I don't understand, it's just the aspect that people don't really have respect anymore. There's no morals in this world anymore. It's just more like, hey, it's my rights. It's mine. We are not thinking about other people. There's no unity. I don't know. I'm very tired of it, but I love this life. Keep doing what you're doing.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I say babe, like a lot of people, like a lot of men would say dude or bro.
Exactly.
Babe's
It's just a term.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
And here's the thing. What it is, people who get triggered by it, they use it as their excuse to dismiss. Oh, I'm upset about it. You can't call me babe. So if you tell me not to call you babe, I'm going to do it so much more. Because fuck you. Don't tell me how to speak. I'll talk how I want to talk.
I don't think it's trash. Like, beyond the hair, what's trash about it?
So beyond the hair, the idea that you should break up with your significant other because they voted politically opposite of you, divorce your husband, in the extreme cases, this isn't common, but it is pushed out there, right? And we understand how messaging works, but to potentially harm or unalive your significant other because of that, I think is a problem. I think, like I said, it's all reactionary because this kind of level of 4B was not around during the Biden era, although people voted for Trump. People supported Trump. The same people who came out later and accused Trump of this still existed, and they still spoke about it prior to the court cases never just came to fruition until after he decided to openly run. I just think it was all reactionary because the messaging that they're pushing out has nothing to do with women's rights whatsoever. It has nothing to do with women's reproductive rights, right? Contraceptives or better medical care or anything of that nature. It's centered around fuck men and or women, right? Who voted for the opposite sex or who voted for the opposite politician and abortion. It's literally all centered around.
I think, what if the best contraception is choice? And that is what they're trying to express. And another
Best contraception is abstinence. It's 100%.
And you can choose to be
effective.
abstinent. And what's the difference between abstinence and the 4B movement other than center on religion? So I think the reason you didn't see the 4B movement before is because you didn't have as much hatred, as much anti-women rhetoric, your body, my choice, the loss of the right to get an abortion, women dying in parking lots. That wasn't happening. And so, of course, you're going to have an extreme reaction to extreme rhetoric and a state of America. Like, Do you not realize boys are getting suspended in schools for chanting your body, my choice in cafeterias? Like, it's a lot deeper than just, oh, you don't like who we voted for. So I think you guys are missing the point.
No, I don't think we are missing the point because, like I said previously, every video that came out about the 4B, as the 4B movement in America came forward, it's all about the election. Had nothing to do with that. The your body, my choice. That trashy joke, and it was a joke, and it's trashy all the same.
But it's not a joke when you lose the right.
Babe, I'm not
Don't
finished.
call me babe.
I'll call you babe if I want to. Don't silence me and don't try to control my speech. I won't try to control yours.
People don't
Anyways,
like calling them babe because men do that as a predatory way.
I'm not doing it as a predatory way, so I don't care.
Honey,
anyways,
sweetheart,
so babe,
baby girl,
I apologize that the middle of my sentence is
that
interrupting the
is rude.
beginning of your woman-splaining, but I will continue to speak anyways. I will go back to trans-splaining if you don't mind.
Listen,
So
I know
clearly,
it's
it was
your
intended as an
personality, but if you were
immature,
actually
trashy
representing
joke by
women,
some kids, right?
you'd be listening more
So
than talking.
that's a. Oh, for fuck's sakes!
Yeah, seriously.
Do you mind if I speak, or is only you'll,
Actually,
or are you the only one allowed to speak here?
interrupted me by disrespecting me.
Wait.
Absolutely.
Did
You tried to silence
Calling
me.
them babe. My name is Erin.
Wait, real quick.
Relax, babe.
Did you just say if Tabby was a real woman?
No, I'm saying if you represent women, you're not going to sit there and disrespect them.
I represent myself and myself only. I don't represent women. I don't claim to represent trans people. I don't represent anyone other than myself.
Good to know.
And I'm
Good to
trying
know.
to offer
That's
a
fair.
different perspective that perhaps that maybe you just haven't taken into effect.
No, I've been listening for
The
a while.
point I was making is every video that came out about the 4B movement, the current 4B movement came out on election night when it became obvious that Trump won. It was all about Trump. We are shaving our heads and we're not sleeping with men until that man's out of office.
That,
Blah, blah, blah,
I don't
blah,
know
blah.
what's wrong with
That's
your
100%.
algorithm, but 4B was there way before Trump won.
No, it wasn't. No,
Yes,
it wasn't.
I can show you.
It was active in South Korea. It was active in South
4B.
Korea. I'm well aware of where it started,
Do you like
how it
being
started,
happy?
and how long it was in play.
Why
Anyways,
are you calling me babe? I'm
Again,
literally engaged to another person. That's disrespectful.
babe, why are you trying to control my speech?
Why
Why do you
calling
think
me
you get to
babe?
control my? Why do you think you get to control
So
how I
anyway,
speak?
4B movement.
Why do you get it? Why do you think? No. Why do you think I should say and speak the way you think I should?
Okay,
Should I be a
why do
good
you
little
think
trans
4B
person, sit
women
down and be
should
quiet and
shave
speak the
their
way you
heads? Why do you
should?
think that they should act and behave the way that you think they should?
No.
Because you find
I
it
think it-
offensive. I find you calling me babe offensive.
Aaron,
Well, I don't-
what are you rebelling against shaving your head?
You're choosing to do something with your body that is against societal norms.
Okay,
That
so
is the
societal
rebellion.
norms means what? What is societal norms?
Exactly why you guys are all pissed off, because it's not normal that women don't want hair, because hair is a part
Okay.
of what men like about women.
Okay, so when women shave their head, right, they're saying, I'm objecting to the societal norms and I'm trying to look ugly, correct?
No, it's saying I'm trying to choose what I want to do with my body.
Okay, no, that's different though, right? Because you said they're rebelling, right? If you just said, hey, I'm just shaving my head because it's my choice, that's completely fine. But if you said I'm shaving my head to rebel,
Even
which means you're
kids,
trying to
when they're in high
No,
school,
Aaron,
shave their heads
no,
to
Aaron,
rebel against their
Aaron,
parents.
Aaron,
It's a statement.
Aaron, hear me out.
Mhm.
And this, we're not kids, correct? Are we grown adults?
Even more reason why you should have no business
Okay.
commenting on
No.
it. Yes.
That's a false statement because you can absolutely comment on whatever you want to as an adult.
Yeah, but it's
right?
still not your business.
Yes, you're just a man. You don't get to have an opinion. Shut the fuck up, silly
Yeah,
man.
I'm opinion about things that aren't your business, and I would never say shut the fuck
we'll
up.
tackle that in a second, right? So when you say that grown women, not children, but grown women, right, are shaving their heads in rebellion, right? You said they're rebelling against what?
Societal norms,
Okay, societal norms meaning what?
the things
What
that you perpetuate.
Is it okay? Is having hair a societal norm for what?
Yes.
Just having hair?
Women having hair is a pressed upon societal norm, and shaving your head is
Okay.
rebellious, and it is a
Okay,
choice about your body.
what is having hair a societal norm of? What does that stand for?
It is a beauty standard.
Okay, perfect. So
Yes.
having hair is a societal norm of beauty, correct?
Mhm.
So when you rebel against that, you shave it off, meaning that you're trying to be what? Less beautiful, correct?
No, you're trying to have autonomy over your body and make a choice
So-
about your
so-
body.
no.
It just also
wait,
is a societal beauty norm. Just like there's wigs for people who have cancer and alopecia. The wig industry is booming. Why?
Okay,
Who
so
sets,
if
who
hair
sets
is a
the beauty
societal
standard,
norm.
Aaron? Aaron, who
Wait,
sets the beauty
hold on.
standard? Men or women?
Not you.
Oh, Babe, that seemed kind of rude.
Wait.
Women set the beauty standard for women, not men.
So my question is, so women who don't want to wear wigs, what do you say?
Okay, Jada Pinkett Smith, yes.
Is she beautiful?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so but she's going against the beauty standard though. She doesn't have a wig and she's bald. Why is she
Yeah,
beautiful?
maybe it's her confidence. Maybe it's the fact that she doesn't care. Maybe it's the fact that she embraces her alopecia and her health condition differently. That's beautiful.
Interpersonally, right? She's projecting that, correct?
Yes, and so are women with 4B. It doesn't mean I'm gonna go and like wear clown makeup. Like,
No,
we're not trying to
I
be
didn't say anything
ugly.
about makeup.
You wanna know, I think the most unattractive thing 4B women could do is be as attractive to a typical man as possible and ignore them. That's what they would be doing. If it was
Okay,
really about just
the-
pissing off men. I really truly think shaving a head is about control over your body.
No, the idea of shaving their head is trying to, like you said, rebel against what? The beauty standard, right?
What about the idea of not shaving your armpits
No.
or legs?
Okay, let's focus on one thing at a time.
But is that not
We'll
the
get
same
to that.
concept? Control over hair?
Control for hair?
Yeah,
your
because
armpits?
men also don't like when women don't shave their legs, and men also don't like when
Women
women
don't like
shave
that.
their armpits. But
You
it's
realize
a choice
women
about
set
your
that
body.
standard. You realize women set that standard, not men.
Okay.
100%.
You know, you realize throughout history of time, women did not shave their armpits or their legs. Mm-hmm. Who do you think
if I
changed
can
that
just make
standard?
I just want to address something real quick in the comments. Kate, every time you spam get Tabby off, I'm staying another 5 minutes. Keep it up.
So the idea, right, that women are shaving their head and rebelling, which is your words, is to combat the beauty standard, right? To be less
No,
attractive.
it's to combat the idea that one has control over another person's body. And to rebel
You said rebel against beauty standards.
To rebel against typical beauty standards specific.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, specific to this
Beauty
event, which
standard.
I'm sure some people are. But again, what I said, the large reason and voice behind this movement has nothing to do with the male gaze. It is literally you guys centering yourselves when it's not about you. It's like 4B couldn't be less about you, but still somehow you're making it about you. I don't understand.
The ironic part about your statement is I'm not even concerned about me. I'm not even necessarily concerned about men. And my statement I've been saying, especially like in terms of the hair shaving thing, the only argument that I've made, I have not brought up men. I brought up other women who
Right, I'm
can't
saying
control the fact.
But it's your opinion about other women. And the 4B movement is literally like, get your opinion off of me.